Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Debauchery Circus campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around the virtual table today are Brandie, John, Jr., and Steven. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Brie is out of town for the holidays, and she is traveling back, so we wish her all the best in traveling home. She'll be back next week. For announcements, I want to remind everyone that we have Random Game Night every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. I'm currently doing a new content playthrough of Celasta, Crown of the Magister, which is a pretty fun game. We also have our holiday theme one-shot coming up in 1 month on December the 27th. Steven from the Debauchery Circus is joining Alyssa and Kyle from the Fab Five and a few friends of the show as well. And the whole thing is hosted by Joe Trotter from the Fab Five. You can stay up to date on all of our scheduling by following us on Twitter as random_Rhapsody or on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV. Okay, that should do it for the announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Debauchery Circus. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had defended the village of Turna from a Topaz dragon who seemed hell-bent on destroying the village. With the death of the dragon, the circus enlisted the aid of the fishermen to haul in the dragon's carcass out from the ocean to harvest its hide and the various other parts. The village hailed the Debauchery Circus as heroes, and while some did mourn the passing of those fishermen who died in the initial attack, much more of the village celebrated with their new heroes for their achievement. The next morning, the team resumed their journey toward Coltrast Keep after receiving the commissions Cameron had ordered the day before. As night slowly descended, the squad at last reunited with the Red Tusk Orcs, just as Edmund predicted. The orcs were justifiably surprised to find some new faces among the circus, but Edmund and Shokan explained both the situation and the plan to Bonebreaker Darklax and her wife, Orgeg. The orcs eventually agreed to help the circus with their mission to dethrone Veritude, but they also demanded a tribute besides the land Edmund offered the warband. After some consideration, the squad offered up their alchemy jug to the orcs, which was very well received by the warriors. With the agreement remade, the circus set out for the gates of Coltrast, while the Red Tusk orcs remained secluded in the forest, waiting for our heroes to signal them to attack. And so, Debauchery Circus, you had shown your royal writ to the guards of the northern gate, the papers that identify you all as a true circus troupe, here to perform for the good citizens of Radagast. The guards had allowed you past the wide, rough wooden wall that encircles the outer boundary of the town. You all silently ride past a wide stretch of farmland, mostly wheat and soybean, among a smattering of thatch-roofed farmhouses and silos. Past that, The buildings begin to draw closer together as the architecture turns away from wooden walls and thatch roof to dark gray stone. At first just in the foundations, but soon turning to quarried stone the deeper you travel towards the lower city itself. As you all follow the made road south towards the lower city, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, what would you say your best trait is? And since Willow rolled first, why don't you go ahead and answer?
Disguising myself.
Disguising yourself is your best trait? Yeah, I'd say so, especially as a changeling. Shokan, how about you?
I feel like Shokan's best trait would be, I guess, her arms. That's what she uses to beat down anybody that comes across her path.
Yeah, that's fair. Cameron, how about you?
My unpredictability.
That was predictable.
Wow.
Okay. Or was it?
Okay, then, Blaznir, what do you got?
My ability to entertain.
Yeah, I'd say you're the entertaining sort. The villagers at the inn back in Turna definitely liked your playing. Okay, then. I like it. So then, Debauchery Circus. By now, you are starting to enter the outer edges of the lower city. Buildings are built close together, all built from the same dark gray stone that is no doubt quarried from the nearby Mistspire Mountains. Villagers you pass seem to keep their heads down as they go about, glancing hesitantly at anything that draws close but quickly turning away again. Shokan and Edmund are riding in one of the wagons, Blaznir and Cameron the other. Willow and Ichabod are both riding their horses, Ichabod in the front and Willow towards the back. But while your eyes may be on the town ahead, your minds can't help but linger on the village of Turna. You had managed to convince the townspeople to help you all drag the dragon back towards the shore to assist you with the harvesting of the hide. While many of the villagers helped you all with this endeavor, there were those who also milled around the wives of the 3 fishermen who had died in the attack. You had all discovered a bag underneath the 3 men's boat, which had capsized in the attack, and where you found a few hundred gold and some gem-encrusted sculptures and other objects to art. It's not difficult to piece together what likely happened. Those men had gone someplace they shouldn't have, and the owner of that gold came a-callin'. But that did leave the question. Where could those fishermen have found a dragon lair? So then, Willow, Shokan, Cameron, and Blaznir. As you stood there on that beach, watching Ichabod and Edmund oversee the skinning and harvesting of the Topaz dragon, what did the rest of you do with your day?
I think it's quite sad that we had to take care of such a noble magical creature who was only intending to defend his house from what was taken.
Yeah, I mean, they are going extinct. It's a shame, honestly.
It's a shame we're going to get another one.
I mean, there's probably still more treasure where he resided, or she. I don't quite know the anatomy of dragons that well.
I'm talking about the teeth, the eyes,
What?
Apparently he has a certain fetish for draconic body parts.
Oh, I'm
By fetish, if you mean really useful, then yes.
have at it. Then I mean, just don't let us see. Honestly,
But as of right now, you are all still kind of standing there milling about the beach. You did see that the wives of the fishermen who had hurried to the beach and saw their husbands dead had been kind of escorted away into one of the nearby houses. Edmund and Ichabod are over there by the Topaz Dragon, overseeing a handful of the fishermen who are working with their long knives, skinning and harvesting these different body parts. As they extract bits of dragon meat, you see it being bundled off to one side and put up in a way like letting the ocean wash over the meat before bundling it in big old burlap sacks. It's kind of an interesting process. The rest of the townspeople occasionally kind of walk over to you all and thank you again for your defending the town from the dragon. But overall, the town is really open for you all. So, what are you wanting to do?
You suppose there's anyone in town who would know where these men went?
Maybe their wives would know something. Maybe they said something at home.
that is an idea. I don't think it's the best idea to bother the newly grieving, but it's the only idea we have. So
As long as someone else does the talking.
like someone other than you, or
Yes.
okay, because I don't know if I'm the best to do that. I'm usually quite what's the word? Let's just
Awkward.
go. No, not awkward. Not awkward.
Blunt?
Blunt is a word. Yeah, that one works.
So you're heading off to speak to talk to the wives of the fishermen?
I guess so. Yeah.
As well.
It's not difficult to figure out which house they were led to. You did watch them walking away, and as the four of you start heading off back towards the village itself, there is a small group of people outside one of the houses that you kind of get the idea that's probably where they are. You make your way to a very small, very rustic wooden thatch house and kind of have to push your way and move around because there's quite a few people crowded around the door. But as you approach, the villagers do see you and recognize you and start thanking you again for what you all did earlier that afternoon. Eventually, you can kind of talk your way past the throng outside, and inside the small, very basic hovel that is this woman's home, you can see three women sitting at a table with a few more women kind of crowding around them, patting them on their back, whispering to them. They're kind of crying a little bit, but it's the terror of the event is starting to fade from them, and it's more the weeping of those who
Reality
are
setting
mourning.
in.
Yeah, pretty much. But they do all kind of look up as they see the four of you approaching.
Good morning, evening. What time is it, Cameron? What time is it? Doesn't matter. Good whatever time it is. We were wondering. Did you perhaps know where your husbands went to? Or we were hoping to go to wherever the dragon might have came from and
We were
make sure it doesn't attack again. And
trying
nothing
to
else
make
attacks.
sure there were not any further dragons that might assail your fair city after we leave.
That's what I just said.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
I'm gonna guidance myself. Evasion. Oh, I didn't need it at all. Alright. 27.
Two of the women just start crying a little bit harder, but the older of the three looks up at you and says, my husband did mention something last night. He said that he and his companions found a sandbar somewhere out in the ocean to the west, and she kind of begins describing a little bit what her husband had discovered. It takes a little bit of talking, but eventually you get the whole story out from these women that their husbands the day before, when they came in from fishing, spoke of a strange sandbar that they had found near a little bit of a rocky peak out in the eastern part of the ocean. Not too terribly far from the fishing village. It took them probably about 3 hours or so to row out there. They described it being odd because sand usually doesn't collect in the middle of the ocean like that, and so they had said they were planning on investigating it the following morning. This morning, the woman tells you, well, judging based on what followed them, I think we can all guess what happened, what they found out there. And she starts crying again. You kind of get the idea that these are some very, very poor people, and they're losing their husbands is akin to losing their livelihood.
Yeah. I'm gonna. You said there are 3 of them, right?
There are 3 of them, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to each of them, just give them 2 gold. Like, okay, thank you for your trouble. I am sorry for your loss. Time to go to work for me. All right.
Yeah, you can.
So I'm going to check our map. I know it's not necessarily detailed with everything, but I'm going to try and see if I can't approximate what they were talking about on our map.
Okay. Go ahead and make an intelligence check as you're checking out your map.
Sure. That's a 10. Because I rolled a 5.
Okay. So looking at your map, the map that you guys you all have is more of a what's the word? It's more of a topiary map, I suppose. It details a lot of the land and the kingdom of Radagast where you currently are, but it doesn't have a whole lot of details of the ocean. And with an 10 intelligence, she said it was somewhere to the east, but beyond that, there's nothing on your map that gives you any discernible landmarks.
Okay.
I want to. Are we? Sorry if I missed this. The house is this their house is in town or is it on the outskirts of town type thing?
Oh no, it's in town. It wasn't very far away from the docks themselves.
I want to ask if any of the fishermen ever talked about hearing any strange sounds before this dragon attack, like if they knew there was a dragon out there or anything.
Yeah. Everyone looks around and confers with one another, and they say no. They had never heard a dragon out there in the ocean. There's not a lot of fishermen in this room itself. It's mostly their wives and a few of the older folks there. But as far as anyone can tell, the husbands finding that sand barge out there was kind of the first clue they had that anything was actually out there. They'd never seen or heard any dragons before then.
Right. I suppose it's time to go hunting.
But this might be fun. Who knows? We might be stuck out at sea forever.
Nah.
Not be fun.
I have the fly spell. We'll be fine.
I can turn into
One,
a
two,
fish.
three. We're making our way downtown. We're gonna walk fast.
Faces pass, and we're homebound.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
So where are you wanting to head after you leave these widows? After Blaznir gives them each a couple gold, thanking them for giving you all that information. You all make your way out of the one woman's house and into the town of Turna itself. You're not far from the docks still, and you
Probably.
Yep.
I was going to say probably head to the docks and see if there are any boats that haven't been destroyed.
Yes, there absolutely were. There's actually only 2 boats that were damaged in the dragon assault. Y'all were actually fairly close by when it happened, so you're able to mitigate a lot of the potential damage the dragon could have done here. As you make your way back towards the docks, you see Edmund and Ichabod over there kind of instructing the people what to do, and you do see there are several fishing boats that are pulling up towards the docks. Coming in from the ocean. They had seen the dragon attack as well, and they're all heading back into town.
Right, so are we going to steal a boat or buy a boat?
We could do
Borrow.
either, though. To be fair, if we attempted to buy the services of a boat, they might attempt to ask for more than would normally be agreed upon due to our desired quarry, shall we say.
Yes, that is a problem. We also have a sneaky over here that could just steal a boat for us. I'm talking about you, Willow.
I mean, I feel like, though, they'd be willing to help us considering we just saved them from an entire dragon.
Or that could make them want to, again, make us pay more because we're taking their boat out into a dragon's lair.
I am accepting of either.
Whichever
as long
works.
as we return whatever it is we are.
Oh yeah, no, we don't need a fishing
totally
boat.
not borrowing.
These are, for the most part, small fishing boats. Most of them are little one-sail craft that you see manned by 2 to 3 people each. They are starting to be pulled up to the docks now. You can see probably 3 or 4 at the different points on the docks at this point. So are you wanting to go and steal one, or are you walking up and just trying to buy one? What is it you're trying to do here?
2 to 3 people each. We're 2 to 3 people each.
There's actually 4 of us.
Are you saying we should just kill them for the boat?
No.
No.
Like, we can try to just, persuade them into just letting us borrow the boat. I don't know if to go for it, because the boats are these people's, like, some people only have the boat, and
Well, then we
just
we
go to
could
the dock.
simply.
I'll meet you there. I will take care of the boat situation.
Sure.
All right, this is going to be hilarious.
I was going to say we could simply offer to pay them for the services of the boat and then more if it happened to get destroyed, but I suppose Willow is handling things however she chooses to handle things.
So Willow is...
We have no... She's not with us right now.
So Willow, what are you doing as you go walking off towards a nearby pier?
Never send a man to do a woman's job. I take off the plate mail, put on what nice dress clothes I have, I beautify myself up, and I'm going to go talk to the fisherman about getting a boat. With my womanly charm.
Okay. So as
What's
Willow
that, Tiny?
As Willow walks off towards the pier, you just see her plate mail begin to magically fall off of her and shooting into her pouch. And then she puts on a coat, I guess, as she's walking towards the dock.
I should have nice cloakwear and stuff like that.
So a nice cloak. Well, sure, why not? And you go walking off towards the docks. Now, the one that you're walking towards, you do see currently has two men. One a little bit older, one more younger, like late teens, early 20s, that sort of thing. The two of them are currently just tying their boat to one of the posts there and securing it, while the other works on straightening out the nets or the sails or something like that. You can't tell at this distance, but the older one, the one who's currently tying the boat onto the dock and securing it, is the closest to you, and he kind of looks up as you approach.
Oh, hi.
Hello there, young lady. What can I do for you?
Well, yes. Me and my companions were
Older.
wanting to see if we might have you take us out to sea.
Nice rhymes game.
Take you out to sea, eh? Well, I suppose you could charter my boat. I was planning on turning in for the day, considering the dragon that we saw come flying towards you, but I heard about what you all did. You're the ones that killed that thing, right?
Yes. My companions and I were, we're just happy we were there at the right time to be able to assist you guys. Heavens forbid if we weren't here and the dragon took over the town.
What are you planning on doing out in the ocean?
Most dragons will have what they call a lair, and we want to make sure that there's nothing else there that might hurt the town while we're not there.
So you want to go looking for the dragon lair? He kind of scratches his chin a little bit.
I'll pull out a small patch of gold. I can make it worth your while, and I'll start tossing it up in the air.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Nat 20.
The old man seems you're looking at him, and you can see the dollar signs kind of going across.
Everyone knows what a dragon lair is.
Everyone knows what a dragon lair is. He says, "Well, I suppose I could be talked into taking you out. Do you have an idea where the dragon lair is?"
We have a general conception of where it should be.
Well, I'll make you a deal, Missy. You know, we here in town could use some assistance. I know quite a few lost their lives in the dragon attack.
Like 3 of them.
That's half the town.
We'll be willing to risk our boat for, say, 20% of what you find in there.
Do it.
And we'll use that to distribute it to the town and make sure the widows are taken care of.
But would the boat even be here if we weren't here? I mean, who knows if anyone would be here if we weren't here at the time?
Well,
I can see you doing 15%.
Go ahead and make another persuasion check.
16.
The old man kind of rubs his chin a little bit. When I say older, not old, but he does say, I suppose 15% is reasonable. You did save the town after all.
We did. I mean, we're just, like I said, we're just glad we were able to be here for you guys when you guys needed us most.
Well, I suppose gather your friends and we'll begin shoving off. We have a few hours left before nightfall, so if you want to go, we better go soon.
All right, we'll be right there. And I'll go, as soon as I'm out of sight, I'll put back my armor on, start, getting ready.
So Willow walking away just does this little Tony Stark moment of armor coming flying out of her pack and attaching onto her over the course of a minute as she's walking back towards the group. And you eventually do arrive. The rest of you kind of were just standing there watching Willow walk down the pier and talk to this guy and walk back, kind of skipping to herself as the armor goes Tony Starking onto her.
Just looking at her and going, so she goes from looking like a child to looking like a fancily dressed child.
No, I aged up when I went and talked to them. I only look like a child, more or less, like everyday type thing, just as a... Who's going to hit a child?
A lot of people, actually.
Apparently a lot of people have been.
You've been hit by so many people. Like it doesn't work.
Creatures, not people.
You've been struck by a smooth criminal.
I mean, there was a couple bandits on the road that would have attacked you.
But they didn't.
Where
Also,
bandits?
They didn't because God.
The town is going to take 15% of what we find. So,
Excuse us.
They're doing what now?
Could you drive a boat?
Probably, honestly.
I mean,
Probably.
I lived in this town for 5-6 years.
To be
Probably
fair,
know a little bit
though,
about sailing.
this is a dragon horde. I think with what we find, we can afford to lose 15% to the town.
And
Well, it's more of we're
do you
greedy.
know what's
We
in
don't want
there?
to.
Yeah, but wouldn't the right thing be to help out these poor ladies who've just lost their entire livelihoods?
I just did. You
Because
go
their
to more than they've
husband
seen in their
angered a
entire life.
dragon.
I mean, if you want to go tell those kids that they have to move and be
We did not
homeless,
choose for their husbands to anger a dragon. We chose to save their lives from their town being destroyed by the very dragon that they angered.
yeah, and if they didn't anger it, we wouldn't have anything. So 15% of something is still better than 15% of nothing.
Actually, we're getting
85%, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna still get a crap ton of money.
We could also lie about how much we got.
Once again, you assume that there are things there.
No,
We have no way of knowing.
Yeah, don't even know if we're gonna find the damn thing. However, you wanted a boat, I got you a boat. We got a captain, a pilot, so we really don't have to do much except rest while we go there and find the thing.
And
If you want to go broker new deal, he's right over there, and I'll walk away. Just skipping back to myself again, little kid. La 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 la.
I have multiple spells that would help. Okay, whatever.
couldn't even negotiate down to 10%. What a shame.
Why is she walking away? We're about to. I don't understand you guys at all.
I'm going back to the boat. I skipped back to the boat.
I'm going to go explain to the captain as best I can where we need to go. Let's just try and make the best of a bad situation.
Also, we could definitely just lie about how much we get in the cave, because he's not coming down there with us.
I will leave that up to you. That is not my forte.
I am horrible at lying.
Well, then.
Again, I mean, we're probably gonna find a lot that 15% is not gonna matter.
Well, actually, it's a younger dragon. If it was older, then yeah, no. But this is.
I'm gonna go to the captain, and I'm gonna basically do, tell him what we were told. Here's their best guess.
And when you do go over to the captain, the rest of your group in tow, explaining to him exactly what he was looking for and what the wives had told you, he kind of thinks to himself and he says, "We can't. I do know the general location of where they would go, where they used to fish every day. So we can start there and head east and see what we can find. Everybody aboard. Be careful now. There's a lot of you, and my ship's used to holding fish, not a lot of moving people. So,
Do you need me to be smaller?
or at least sit in the middle. But yes, being smaller helps."
How long do you think the journey will be? Because I have 4 hours of being small.
I'm already smaller.
Well, yes, but that was going to change into an animal.
Yeah.
But I only have 4 hours, so if it's not going to be useful at all, then there's no point.
As you're standing there saying this, the boat just kind of wobbles a little bit, and you have to duck down and sit down to keep yourself steady.
I mean, I'm small-sized, and Willow's the size of a child. So.
Yeah, you're not in danger of knocking it over.
Being that I'm the heaviest, I'll probably just sit in the middle and kind of turtle into my shell a little bit and just not move.
Yeah, we could probably tie you to the back of the boat and have me right on your shell as they drag us.
There's that too. I could do that too, probably.
So
I'm gonna turn into a raven anyway, and just kind of sit on someone's head. And Kyan's still up, so he's gonna go on someone else's lap.
do any of you tell Edmund or Ichabod that you're leaving?
No.
I mean, Ichabod didn't want us to look for the dragon's lair in the first place, and I'm not in the mood for a lecture.
They look kind of busy over there.
They're not getting the cut.
The thumbs in the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
maybe leave a note. Write him a note.
It's up to you. It don't matter to me. I was just curious.
No, we're leaving.
Perfect. The four of you climb on the boat. The sails are set, and as your boat starts heading out into the ocean, go ahead and make a perception check. Anyone who wants to.
8.
That is. I got a 31.
I got a 7 because I rolled bad.
I got a 31 because of guidance. Yeah, so.
Even plus 5 bonus can't help you when you roll a 2.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I can't cast guidance on an animal. Never mind.
Yeah, you can't. So that's fine. Still, a 27. What kind of animal are you right now, Blaznir?
Raven.
Okay, so in raven form, probably perched on Shokan's shell, you're sitting there watching, and as the boat starts to go out, you look back to see what Cameron and Ichabod are doing. The two of them are focused on getting the dragon harvest, but Edmund does look out, and the eyes, you can tell he's looking in the boat's direction, kind of confused.
I'll wave at him as a raven. Just
he can't quite see that far, but you wave to Edmund, and he's just kind of giving this weird look as the boat goes sailing off. But the sails do catch a wind, and you are pushed forward, and your boat begins heading out into the east. Now, what I want for the group to do is this is going to be a group challenge to try to find this dragon's lair. You've given them a basic idea of which direction to head towards, and so from this point on, each of you are going to make a roll describing what you're doing to assist this search. I want each of you to choose a different skill to use, and we're going to see how you do. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So 4 of you, 4 rolls. Who's going to go first?
I guess I can.
Okay, so what are you doing, Cameron, to assist in the search for the sandbar?
I'm assuming that the captain has a better map of the sea than we do.
Not really. These are fishermen. They fish in a certain area. They don't live by maps. They go where they've always gone.
Oh, well, I was going to assist him in reading the map, but that doesn't apply if there is no map.
Well, you have a map. You could do the same thing.
Sure.
So
I just figured theirs would probably be better, but
what skill are you using?
maybe like investigation.
Investigation. Okay. Go ahead and make for me an investigation check for the first part of this skill challenge.
25.
So you lay your map out on the fishing boat, which it's not very big. Think like a Viking style single sail rowboat style type of fishing boat. You're standing there in the middle of it. You lay out your map, and you're kind of describing for him exactly what the women had said. A little bit of a peak of rocks out of the ocean, sand beginning to build up around it like a sandbar, somewhere in the direction that these fishermen typically would go. And he's kind of sitting there thinking to himself, and suddenly he points to one place on the map and he says, "Oh, maybe this is the place. Let's go here first." And he and his son begin to shift the sails a little bit and angle the boat to try to head in that direction. So that is a success with a 25. Who's going to go next?
I'll go next. I'm gonna be flying above the boat and just kind of keeping an eye out for, where we're going and sea monsters, because I 100% believe that a sea monster is going to attack.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a raven, you take to the air, flying around the boat a little bit. Go ahead and make your skill check. Oof.
10.
Ugh, that's a shame.
Oof.
So with a 10, you're flying around, searching, looking in the water specifically. You don't see a lot of movement in the ocean. It gets fairly dark the farther out to sea you get. You do see occasional fish swimming by to the surface, that sort of thing. And one of them really catches your interest. It's bright, it's shiny, it keeps flickering up to the surface and back down again, and your attention is completely caught on that. So much so that you don't see the very dark clouds that are starting to push inward towards the boat. The wind begins to become a little more bracing. You're having a hard time staying afloat and keeping up with the boat, and you're forced to land before you get lose the boat entirely. So that is a failure with a 10. So one success, one failure so far to find this island. Who's going to go third?
I'll go.
Okay. So what are you doing to help this search?
I was figuring like a survival check. Maybe somehow that would help me kind of figure out where our best shot would be to go.
Okay. So with the wind starting to brace against the sail, and you're starting to get pushed a little bit off course. The waves are starting to become much more rocky as you're all sailing out there. Go ahead and give me a survival check as you're trying to assist Cameron and the captain of this vessel to find the clear path through this choppy bit of water.
That'd be a 23.
Okay. 23, you grab onto one of the ropes that are connected to the sail. You're holding it and you're pointing outward. Go here, no, turn this way. And with a 23, you're definitely helping to keep the boat afloat and in the right direction, even fighting against the storm that's starting to push in. So that is a success. So we have 2 successes, 1 failure. Willow, it's down to you here. So what skill are you using to assist in this exploration of the ocean?
Now, can I intimidate for the Raven to do better and find something?
Intimidate the Raven? Sure. I guess I'll allow it. Why not? Go ahead and what are you saying to Blaznir as a Raven to intimidate him?
Do better! What is your problem? You're 40 feet in the air! And I get a 16.
Do I roll a wisdom save?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing like that. Oddly enough, 16 was exactly the DC you needed to beat for this. It was 13, 14, 15, 16. So good job. That is a success. With this tiny little person yelling at this much tinier little animal to do better, Blaznir is just intimidated to the point that he takes off into the air once again, flying as high as he can, fighting against the winds, and there, at the very edge of your vision, you see the little sandbar that had been described out in the ocean. Good job.
Yay.
Such a bully.
I go down and back on the boat, shivering from both the cold and fear, and just kind of point my ring towards the island.
There you do. And as you all start making your way in that direction, you do all eventually see, after about 30 or so minutes, the three rocks jutting just above the level of the ocean. And as the boat gets closer and closer, you can see, sure enough, sand buildup around these little rock formations that are jutting out of the ocean. This is not a natural thing, Cameron. You would know for certain. As somebody who's been to college and studied the nature of the universe, sand just doesn't brush up and build up against rocks in the middle of the ocean. Something like that would have had to have been purposeful. But you can all see it now as the boat begins to get closer and closer. And you're about 50 or so feet off from the boat, or from the sandbar, and the captain pulls up the sail and begins to slow you all. Now, he stops and he looks out and he says, "Well, I reckon that's it right there. Sandbar in the middle of the ocean. Now that is just weird. No wonder they came out here to investigate."
Quite unnatural thing.
I'll get you a little bit closer to it, but I'm not going to get anywhere near that sandbar. I don't know what's down there, and I don't want to risk beaching my boat.
I mean, I can swim a decent amount there too. So, like, if he doesn't want to get too close to it, I'll just swim the rest of the way.
He and his son, using the momentum the boat that the wind had left the boat, begins turning it a little bit and angling it, and gets you all a little bit closer, which I'm going to go ahead and represent here on the map for you all. Right about there.
How long has it been since we were on since town? Bleh. Bleh. Am I still a bird?
It's been probably about an hour and a half, close to 2 hours. You are still a bird.
Right.
You still got some time left.
All right. I don't think flying around the silently is going to do much. So I've got nothing.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I can just swim to shore it'd be easy. I got like what, an hour of breathing.
And what of the rest of us?
I'm a bird, so I can fly over. You guys are on your own, though.
You can't talk, Blaznir. You're a bird.
No, I'm not. I can't talk. But I flaunt my wings.
Absolutely.
Can I ride on your shell, please?
Yeah, sure. I imagine I could carry her on my shell, couldn't I?
Oh yeah, I'd say so.
If I cast Tensor's floating disc, could I stand on it and then like row?
And row.
Yeah.
So the way Tensor's floating disc works, if I'm not mistaken, is that it follows you.
Damn.
Like you can sit on it and be safe on it, but it wouldn't move because it has to follow you.
Blast.
You sit on my back, and Willow sits on the disc.
That's fair. Sure. I can ritual cast that sucker, so I'll cast that.
Okay, I like it. So, Shokan dives into the water, swimming up to kind of do a bit of a doggy paddle there, keeping her shell above water. Cameron, after ritually casting Tensor's floating disc and Willow climbs up onto it, he then jumps down and onto Shokan's shell. Go ahead and give me a acrobatics check to jump down onto the shell, Cameron.
Oh. An 8.
So, with Shokan in the water there, you climb up onto the edge of the boat and you look down there, and she's right there waiting. You just think, oh, no problem. You just jump off. And as you fall downward and land on the shell, your feet slip out from under you, and you just land in the water. Splash!
How far down is she?
I mean, it was a decent-sized boat. It was probably about maybe, I don't know, 6-7 foot drop. It wasn't huge. You just misjudged where you're landing. You slipped on the edge of the shell and you fell off.
I'm gonna look over the boat, and using the mimicry I have, I'm gonna kind of mimic his yelp as he falls into the water.
Cameron, go ahead and give me an athletics check to pull yourself back up onto Shokan as you're kind of treading there.
19.
I was gonna say, can you have advantage? Because I'd help him.
Yeah, he doesn't need it with a 19. You are completely soaking wet as you kick and swim back up to the surface and begin pulling yourself up onto her shell.
As I see Blaznir laughing at me, I'm just gonna use my telekinetic shove to just push him a little bit.
I like it. Blaznir, go ahead and make a what is that? A con save?
It is a strength save.
Strength save. Give me a strength save as a bird, please.
Yeah, that's minus 4. Natural 20 though.
Wow, natural 20 minus 4, so that's a 16. Does a 16 save?
I believe it does. Let me see. It is 8 plus proficiency bonus plus ability mod. So 11, so 16.
So it's exactly it. So he does actually save with his 16 as you try to telekinetically shove him.
I mimic him even more and fly up.
And flying up as a raven, circling around, mimicking the yelps that Cameron made. Shokan, you're able to swim. You have a swim speed, so you don't even need to make athletics checks. You just can swim. I think you have a swim speed, don't you? As a turtle?
I think.
Let's find out.
I thought it was their natural walk speed. I'm probably wrong, but
I mean, like, I've got.
Total.
I've
They can hold their breath.
I'll hold my breath for an hour, It says I'm not a natural swimmer, but I can remain underwater for some time before needing to come up for air.
There
Yeah,
you go.
no
So-
swim speed.
So you do not have a swim speed. So just go ahead and give me an athletics check, because you are carrying somebody on your back. Willow is just floating. Willow floating along on this disc behind Cameron, who is just sopping wet as these waves kind of lick up against the side of her shell. It is a bit difficult because there is quite a bit of wind, there is some waves, but not so difficult that a 12 wouldn't be able to do it. I'm going to say that, yeah, a 12 just makes it to shore, and you all begin swimming towards it. The sandy, rocky ledge. Now, as you get closer, the first thing you're noticing, Cameron, as you're kind of perched up on her shell, is that the sand angles downward at a sloping slope that it comes toward you all, almost as though someone dumped sand from the sky onto these rocks and it dribbled downward. As you're getting close, the next thing you can see is that there between the two of the rocks, there is a bit of a hole, like a tunnel had been dug between the rocks going downward into the ocean. You can see just enough of the edge of it to make out that it does in fact go downward.
Right, looks like this is the way we need to head.
The old man in the boat calls over, "Y'all make it over okay?"
Yeah.
I do my best to mimic what he said, even though I can't really mimic that very well. But
That's fair.
yeah, I can't answer any other way. So
"We'll be waiting here for you. Once you let us know it's safe, we'll come close so you can load up whatever you find."
Okay.
we have a bag of holding. I think we do.
We have a
Shokan-
handy haversack.
Yeah, Shokan carries that.
Oh right, Trigot had a bag of hoarding. Forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can fill up what we can in the handy haversack for sure.
Yeah, and not give any of it to him.
I mean, I feel like we should give at least some to the town.
You can't hear me.
This is true. You can't hear him. He's a bird right now.
This is all internal monologue.
But the four of you do manage to climb. It's kind of odd and precarious climbing up onto the sandbar, but there is a little bit of some give, and the sand slides down a little bit as you climb, but you are all able to make it up to these rocks on top of the sandbar. Your feet, you kind of have to do this little bit of a dancing motion in the sand, pulling your feet up, stepping down again, because whenever you stay still for more than a moment, your feet start to sink a little bit into the sand. But you are all able to climb up to the edge of it and look down into a very long tunnel that seems to be creeping downward at an angle, which I'm going to move you to right now. And since it's 4 o'clock and we're about to start this exploration, I think this is a perfect time to go on break. That way we don't have to stop anything in the middle of anything. So, stay tuned, everybody. We will be back in about 10 minutes' time, and we're going to find out just what this group finds inside this dragon's lair. Stay tuned. Howdy, everybody. We are back. And when we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had just found the hidden lair they believe to be the Topaz Dragon's lair. We'll find out what they're going to find now. But, so, everyone, you creep down into this tunnel that at first you just all have to kind of slide in. It's barely more than 7 or 8 feet wide. And as you're wiggling down there, as you're going down, you're like, wow, how the hell did this dragon get through there? It had to have smushed itself really tight to get through here. But after getting past the initial opening, you find that it does widen out to a 10-foot by 10-foot tubular chamber that kind of winds its way and goes at a slightly sloping downward angle. The floors are bare and extremely dry. The sand beneath your feet, as you crunch into it, feels like there's no moisture in there whatsoever. And it's odd. It's kind of dusty and powdery. So, what would you all like to do?
I'm gonna stop being a raven.
Can I make a check to see if I know anything about gem dragons? See what we might be expecting.
Sure. What kind of check would that be? I'd say probably a
Arcana, if I had to
history?
guess.
I would say, yeah, history or arcana. I guess I'll let you roll arcana. That's fine.
I mean, they're both the same, but they are highly magical creatures.
Yeah. So it's
And I did roll a natural one, of course.
So yeah, with a 9, you don't know a lot about gem dragons. They actually have kind of been a rarity on Loroupa. They do pop up every now and again, but they're definitely not as common as, say, the blue dragons, which are definitely the most heavily prevalent dragon on Loroupa.
Yep, gem dragons are definitely dragons.
Yep, they're definitely dragons, but you don't know a whole lot about them, unfortunately.
Definitely a big creature.
I'm
I'd say
gonna
let's
have
just forge on.
my hands on fire so I can see in here, because it's probably quite dark.
It is indeed, and actually I'm going to set that up because I forgot to.
I love dark vision.
It is very dark down there.
You have goggles of night too. Just remember.
Cameron, what is the produce flame spell that I think is what you're using? How much light does that give?
I am not actually using anything. It is Blaznir.
Blaznir, sorry.
10 feet, 10 feet bright, 10 feet dim. So.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, I cannot
would
see
I be
anything.
able to see beyond that?
You have dark vision?
60 feet.
Then yes. You have the goggles of night as well?
Nope. From my tattoo.
Oh, that's right, from the tattoo. I forgot about that.
I should probably invest into some being able to get dark vision. That seems like a good idea.
You know...
Yes?
I'm just gonna cast dark vision on you.
Oh. I didn't have that prepared, I think. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's move along.
If there is another dragon in here, it's probably better to not announce our presence.
So are you getting rid of the ball of fire in your hand, Blaznir?
I suppose. Even though I quite like it. It warms my hands up, but...
Hey, who turned off the light?
Oh, right, you need... None of us just, naturally have dark vision.
None of you do.
No.
So
Why do you
Willow,
think I bought that tattoo?
Yeah, so Willow is in total darkness right now. Now that Blaznir has extinguished his little ball of fire. But the rest of you can
I
see about 60 feet.
I will light a torch.
You by chance have another spell? I don't want to tap out you, but I don't have it prepared at all, and I don't. As you said, it's probably not a good idea to alert a dragon to our presence.
Or I could always go ahead too and like scope things out, and if there's nothing
Problem is
there,
she can't see, and
Let's
like if
face it.
something jumps out at us, if she can't see, then
Just be aware that another dark vision means no invisibility, but that's fine.
If there's a
I'll
dragon
cast it
on
on
this
Willow
coast,
also.
honestly, it already knows we're here.
most likely. But better safe than sorry.
You have dark vision now for 8 hours.
Okay. So with that, now Willow also has dark vision.
I really need to keep that spell prepared. It's quite useful.
Right, who among us is going first?
I mean, I can. I'm pretty strong. I'll fare pretty well amongst most enemies. So
Please, by all means.
Okay, so sounds like Shokan is heading out first, walking down the center of this tunnel that seems to be angling to the down and a little bit to the east.
I'll go second behind Shokan.
and that's a 15 for stealth. I'm trying to just at least be somewhat quiet.
Ah, so you're stealthing. Okay, so crouching down, you're trying to be as quiet as you possibly can, with a 15.
I cast Passive Wild Trace on everyone, so you know. I don't know if it affects.
I got a 22 on stealth.
So that will affect her 15.
So then I got 25 in stealth. So I'm
Which,
pretty quiet.
that would be a
27.
32 then, if with the plus 10.
I didn't guide myself, but
Okay, yeah. They all rolled. The highest they rolled is a 22, but that still doesn't beat.
I'll put guidance on Willow,
Out of that.
so if she has a bit more. If she's gonna.
Okay, so Willow,
roll stealth.
are you rolling stealth as well?
Yeah,
Actually, wait, I can't cast guidance. No, never mind. It's a concentration.
yeah, I will do. I guess I will be stealthing as well.
Are you still in your heavy armor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Make your stealth check at disadvantage, but still roll. Add a 10 to it.
Okay.
Oh,
That will be a 17.
Okay. So it looks like 17 is the lowest your group rolled.
Yep.
So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them actually heard. So your group, trying to be as quiet as they can, start making their way down this angled tunnel. Willow, out of the four of you, makes the most noise, but even that is very light and faint as you're all making your way down. The creatures down there did definitely hear, and one of them calls attention to another very softly. I'd like all of you to make perception checks as you're making your way down this tunnel.
You're
13.
that's
17.
14. I cannot roll good on my perception. I did
11.
Did one.
I mean, if you want, I can intimidate you again.
Do better.
So
Less
Cameron,
intimidating when he has to whisper it.
as you're making your as the four of you are making your way down as quietly as you can, you very barely hear the faintest sound of a whisper and you stop and you perk your ear up, listening for this. You can hear Willow's movements in her heavy armor, the kind of scrape of that metal a little bit. But there's something else out there as well. It just barely was on the edge of your vision, edge of your hearing.
Okay.
They are speaking to move
Can I
around.
try and identify it?
Well, with your 17, what I'm telling you is you barely heard it. If you're going to pause and try to identify that sound, I'll allow you to make another perception check.
Sure, I'll just poke everyone on the shoulder and make a hand signal for them to stop for a second. Listen again.
The rest of them are preparing. They heard something coming down and they're readying.
That's
their
worse than
actions.
last time.
You're not sure. Now that you're listening once again, you don't hear anything.
Okay.
Maybe it was just Willow's armor. You're not entirely sure, but for a second you thought you heard something else.
Okay. I'll just motion for everybody to move on.
They are making their way down through the tunnel now because they heard something. They are sending one of their people to warn the ones farther down. Okay, so what are y'all doing?
Pressing on. Should we do do we need to do another check or anything, or do we just keep going?
You can just keep going.
Oh, never mind. Did I see what I actually saw, or was that not there?
As your group was making your way down,
Mm-hmm.
Shokan was probably the first one to see, as she rounds this corner, a large group of fish-like bipedal humanoids, all wearing odd, misshaped, mismatched armor and beads and shark fins and that sort of thing. All of them seem to be waiting for your group to come into range, because as one, multiple spears just get launched in your direction right at your group. Most of these spears are heading towards Shokan, who is in the front.
Go ahead and try.
So that is 17, a 13, a 21, and a 10.
Those all against her?
Those 4 were all against her.
Okay.
Only that 21 hits.
Okay. So a whole 2 points of piercing damage as all of these spears just come flying out at you. Shokan, one of them actually does manage to pierce into your shell a little bit. However,
ouch.
A bright beam of energy comes shooting out as well from the darkness, bright green. This one was aiming for whoever was past Shokan. And this one happens, the person who's right behind her is, Cameron.
Me. Yep.
And what they are doing is they are casting Eldritch Blast at you.
Okay.
I don't know.
They don't get advantage.
Why is that?
Alert feat. Other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against you as a result of being unseen by you.
That's right.
And I can't be surprised while I'm conscious.
Then that is a 13 to hit, which I assume misses.
Yep.
And I need all of you to roll for initiative. And don't forget to click your token.
34.
$17. Yeah, I like that we have our own band. Brandie, does the little ones take requests for what they play?
What?
I can hear the little one practicing band in the background.
I think what you're hearing is the World 20 music I just put on.
Oh, well, no, I don't have the music going on. It sounded like a trumpet, or not trumpet, but a trombone and a drum.
No, I'm not hearing it. I have no
No,
idea.
I don't hear-
and we have a saxophone, flute, and trumpet, but really my daughter only ever practices her flute at home.
Did anyone else hear it, or am I just high off medicine right now?
You're
You're high.
probably high off medicine.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's an auditory hallucination, dude.
Dude, NyQuil's amazing.
At least it's not an Ambien.
Yeah,
No,
because I
that's
mean, I
good.
thought you were referring to the music that's playing, because I can hear the music Matt started.
Well, I hear nothing. Now, that's why I thought it was... I know your kids were in band, so I thought I was hearing band practice.
Nah.
But anyway, so starting things off, looks like we have Cameron. So Cameron, what are you doing?
Cool. Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then, let me see. 120 foot, 20 foot radius sphere. Yeah, that's good. Alright, let me check my range. Yeah, plenty of range. I'm gonna cast gravity sinkhole on these suckers. Let's see. 20-foot radius. Yeah, I see that. Let's drag it. No, come on. Hang on. There we go. 20-foot radius sphere. Which I need to click so I can drag it. There we go.
Okay, what am I gonna do with this?
Likes. That. So I'm gonna get all them suckers.
Okay,
So let me pop that up into chat. Crushing force. Point I can see within range. Constitution saving throw on every creature in the sphere. If they fail, they take 5d10 force damage. Pulled in a straight line towards the center of the sphere.
Okay.
Succeed and they take half damage and aren't pulled.
So you begin casting this spell, weaving these incantations as you move your hands, and as you go to cast the spell, you hear the spell disappear as one of them counterspelled it.
Oh. Oh
That
no.
sucks. Hey, wait.
Awkward.
Did he succeed on his check, though?
What level did you cast that spell at?
It's base level 4.
Then actually it will have to,
Yeah.
because that
I mean, he
is
could use
third
a higher
level.
level spell slot if he wanted to, but then we'd have to figure out whether or not you can tell what somebody is casting when they're casting it.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway, he doesn't... So let's see here... God, I have to remember how to do this.
So it's just a ability check using spellcasting modifier DC 10 plus the spell's level, so 14. So a D20 plus whatever his casting modifier is for counterspell.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now. Hold on 1 second here. So that was an 11. So that is a failure. He tried to counterspell it, but was not able to do so.
Sweet.
Okay. So let's see here. So that is a con save.
Yep. 16 is the DC.
These should not be. God damn it. Okay. So looking at the scores. Looks
Like 2 of them saved.
What's the spell DC?
16.
It is a 16.
So the 20 and the 17
the 20
made
and
it.
so the 2 warlocks saved it. The 4 Shogun did not.
So it's 23 for the folks who failed. And then do you round up or down?
We always round down.
Okay, then 11 for the 2 warlocks. And then the 4 regular ones just all
Just
get
take the 23 and
pulled
get pulled
towards the center.
So here's what happened. You cast the spell. The warlock, one of them who looks odd in green, much lighter shade of green than the others, attempts to counterspell it. Unfortunately, the spell was higher than he thought it was, and he was unable to do so. The spell erupts, and all 4 of the normal dark green skin looking creatures get sucked towards the middle, where they're instantly crushed. Because they don't really have a hell of a lot of hit points, and 23 wasn't just what they needed.
Nice.
The other 2 are still up, and they ain't happy. You doing anything else for your turn?
Yeah, I'll bonus action. Try and shove this one here a little bit closer towards us.
Which one?
The one on the edge right here.
Okay. And that was a con saving throw or a strength saving throw? That's right.
Strength saving throw, 16. If he fails, he's moved 5 feet towards us.
Yep, that's a 17, so he did succeed.
Okay. Then, no, that's my turn. Although I will look at the warlock who tried to counterspell me and go, maybe get some stronger magic next time.
Okay.
Shame.
Well, with that...
If you're saying something, we can't hear you, Matt.
Okay, so next up is one of those warlocks who's there. That needs to go away. There we go. He's going to move back 5, 10, 15, 5, 15, 20, 25, 30 to right about there. And he's going to cast... Okay, I'm actually going to retcon that. What he does on his turn is he just screams out this odd kind of language that I assume none of you can speak, because I doubt any of you speak Sogan. He then, you see him casting a spell right now. As the spell goes off, unless you're going to try to counterspell it. Cameron, are you counterspelling his spell that you see him beginning to cast?
I don't know. What are the rules for trying to figure out what spell it is?
You can't. There's no way to really
Then
judge
no.
what a spell is. Okay. Then what he is casting is... What he's casting is Hunger of Hadar. So, a 20-foot sphere.
Oh.
Unfortunately, he can only reach the two of you. So, as he's casting this spell, Cameron does not counterspell it. A gateway opens up to a dark space between the stars, a region infested with unknown horrors. A 20-foot sphere of blackness and bitter cold appears, centering on a point within range, and lasts for the duration, which is up to a minute. This void is filled with a cacophony of soft whispers and slurping noises that can be heard up to 30 feet away. No light, magical or otherwise, can illuminate this area, and creatures fully within the area are blinded. The void creates a warp in the fabric of space, and the area is difficult terrain. Any creature that starts its turn in the area takes 2d6 cold damage. Any creature that ends its turn in the area must succeed on a dex saving throw, or take 2d6 acid damage. And so all these tentacles begin to writhe around at your feet and seem to be whipping at your legs. Both of you, Shokan and Cameron, are completely blinded. And those of you who are at the edge of it, Blaznir and Willow, you can just see this dark, inky void that appeared directly in front of you. The Sojin, then, on the rest of its turn, you guys can't really see what's happening with it, so you're not going to hear me for 1 second. The Sogin is then going to move its movement, because that's what he was trying to decide how he's going to do it. But this one works a little bit better. He moves his full movement down to there, and you're all can, at least some of you, Blaznir and Willow, can hear that screech, the sound that the thing makes. Shokan and Cameron, all you can hear right now is this. And that's it for their turn. Blaznir, now it's your turn. So what are you doing?
Well, I had a plan. I'm gonna just put the obsidian back into my trench coat pocket and just like try to figure out what I'm doing next. Can't really shoot through it. Don't have to spell magic prepared, which would be really nice if I had it. Do that. Don't know if that's a good idea. Alright. Do I remember about where the monster? No, I have to see. Never mind. I have to see over there. I think. Do I have to see?
What are you trying to see?
I'm trying to see if a spell requires me to see where I cast it.
It should say in the description.
That's what I'm reading. It doesn't look like it says I have to see.
What does it say under target?
Target a solid surface within range.
So that's it. As long as there's a solid surface within range that you can visibly see, you could probably cast it.
But the thing is, the question is, do I have to see it? Because, like, if I can just kind of remember about where it is, then, then I could...
I mean...
I don't know if I can do that. Because there's also, like, this other spell is definitely a point you can see.
What spell are you talking about?
Wall of Fire.
I would not cast Wall of Fire without being able to see where you're putting it.
Because I was thinking of just kind of putting it in a circle around where I remember the things being.
It doesn't specifically say that you have to see the point.
Oh, I could also cast this.
No, but I don't know if you would have been able to see the guys because you haven't moved up yet.
I can see a couple dead guys right now.
Well, you can see dead guys, but you would not. So
I wouldn't know where the other guys were, but I can probably guess work.
So see where I have this line right there, Blaznir?
Yeah.
You would have seen everything above that spot.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of that. I don't know.
So I'd say anywhere above that line, you could theoretically cast a Wall of Fire because you did see that general area, but you wouldn't have been able to see anything farther down in that that caravan, the cavern.
I'm also looking at others. I don't know what's a good idea. Because
follow your heart.
I also have this other spell that I could cast there, which might be a bit better than Wall of Fire. Wall of Fire is kind of...
Well, why don't you just tell us what spell you're actually casting?
Because I definitely can't move through. Oh, I could dash, but then... Okay, actually, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna use my action to dash. Because it's a difficult terrain. I have 30 feet. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Alright, I'm gonna dash through here.
Okay, so first off, as you go walking through this, let's see, it is difficult terrain.
Yeah, so that means I have 20, technically, or 15 feet, and then dash would be 30, so I could not make it that far, but...
Yeah, you could get to about there, 30 feet.
I can't move my character in there, by the way.
Oh. There you go.
So, that doesn't help either, does it? Ah, Christ.
Okay. So you go running through this, and the moment you start running through this dark void space, you hear that cacophony of whispers and feel things begin whipping at your feet. You're able to get most of the way through it, but unable to get all the way as these tentacles begin just licking around your legs. So that's your movement and your action. Do you have anything else you can do?
I don't know. I'm just, I'm gonna...
You have a bonus action still.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Flame Blade because I'm annoyed. That's a bonus action, so.
Okay, so you, as bonus action, you're casting Flame Blade. A fiery blade just evokes in your hand in the shape of a scimitar. Very similar to the scimitar that you recently had made. It is now in your hand, and that's the end of your turn. So I'm going to need you to make a Dex saving throw, please.
Yep.
Okay, so an 18 does save, actually. So, you do not take the acid damage. You go running through there as these suction cups start grasping at you, and you're just kind of standing there dancing, pulling your feet up, trying not to get burned by this acidic area that you're currently in. That's it for you. So, Willow, you're up next. What are you doing?
I'm not going to do it much of a damn thing. I'm going to move up, pull out. Now, do I have my greatsword back yet since it was being worked on?
Yeah, you got that back. You have the radiant greatsword. So what are you doing?
I'm going to pull out my greatsword, and I'm going to hold action. If something comes by me, I'm going to swing.
Fair enough. Okay, that's it for you. Shokan, you're up next. So currently you are blind. You cannot see anything. And I need you to make a dex saving throw, please. Let's see, hold on a second. Let's see. Any creature that starts its turn in the area takes 2d6 cold damage. So that just happens. So hold on one second. So that is 8 points of cold damage to you. As you're standing in this area, blinded, unable to see anything, you just feel this chill come over your body as ice begins to form along your shell and your skin. So that's 8 points of ice damage. But as I said, you are currently blind. You are unable to see where you are, and you're stuck in this area of just sounds permeating your ears, starting to drive you a little bit mad with these whispers. What are you wanting to do?
Okay, I'm gonna just keep going in the general direction I was going, hoping to find the edge.
Okay, so what's your movement speed right now, since you're a monk?
45.
45, so you can move a total of 20 feet in this rough terrain space.
That right there is 20.
And so you still have 5 feet of movement left over from that.
Okay. And I'm gonna go down here, and then I'm probably see this guy down here.
Oh, let's see. Let's see if that changes anything. Yeah, it does not look like the effect lasts beyond that. So once you step through it and get to the other side, you are able to see.
Okay, and then I'm gonna use a key point to do Step of the Wind to dash. Because I see this guy. So if I use that and dash him, then I can still attack, right?
Because you're using your bonus action. So you use your movement to get that point. You're using your bonus action to dash. So then you still have your action.
Okay, so then I'm doing that. So then 5, 10, 15, 20, getting up on this guy. And
not that guy.
Unarmed strike with my brass knuckles. That is a 25 to hit him. I'm assuming that hits.
Yeah, that hits.
That is 8 damage. And then my second attack, is that a bonus action?
No, when you make the attack action, you just have 2 attacks.
Okay.
So you can just make 2 attacks with your brass knuckles, since that's what you're using.
12 is my second one.
A 12 does not hit. You punch once with your brass knuckles, but as you try to follow it up doing a haymaker, the Sojin just dodges back.
Okay, that's it. Because I can't do my flurry of blows is a bonus action, I believe.
Yes, it is. Okay. Next up is the Sojin you just attacked.
Of course.
What is he doing?
Dying? Can I take dying for 200, please, Bob?
I mean, he's at least slightly hurt.
No, he's definitely hurt. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and have him cast Crown of Madness on you. So I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. But that's a 13 saving throw I need you to roll.
Of course.
Okay. So you with a 12 are now charmed. While the target's charmed, a twisted crown of jagged iron appears around your head, and madness is beginning to glow within your eyes, Shokan. Okay. You must use your action before... The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turn to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature, or if none are within its range. On your subsequent turns, you must use your action to maintain control over the target, or the spell ends. Okay. So here's the... Okay, I gotcha. So at the beginning of each turn, he basically commands you who to go attack.
Before you move.
Before you move. So he has to do that before he moves.
No, before she moves.
The target must... The charmed target must use its action before moving. Okay, so yeah, it is the target. That's just weird. Worded very odd, but that's fine.
It's supposed to be like if there's multiple frontline guys, you can make one of them attack their friend.
Yeah, I get it. It's just... I think it should be worded a little bit differently. Anyway, since you are now charmed, it's going to be moving backwards. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25... to right about there. Okay. That's it for their turn. Cameron, we're at the top of the order, and it is now your turn. You are blind. You have no idea what's going on. First off, you take 9 points of cold damage. You just feel this frost grow over your fur and begin to just burn away a little bit that cold on your flesh.
Yep.
What are you going to do on your turn?
So first, I'm gonna follow the DJ's instructions and take 2 hops this time. And then I don't need to move anymore, so I can definitely cha-cha real smooth while I mind sliver the gentleman back here that I can see within 60 feet of me. Whoop. Nope. Not moving.
Okay.
So, for him, it is an intelligence saving throw.
They should be good. Oh, 18. He succeeds.
Okay, and I guess it doesn't do anything then, because it doesn't say anything about half damage, so...
Nope, because that's a cantrip, so it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it for your turn?
And then I'm gonna use my shove on him. Oh wait, no. I think that's let me check. I think that's 30 feet. Yeah, that's within 30 feet of me. Never mind.
Okay. So that's it for Cameron's turn. Next, we are going up to one of the warlocks. Which I forgot to have him move. Probably makes it down there by this time. Okay. Let's see, what is he gonna do? Yeah, on its turn, he just kind of squawks out one more time as you see his lips beginning to move, and he's casting another spell. You are within range, so I'm going to ask you if you're going to counterspell this.
Sure.
You are counterspelling it?
Yep.
Okay. You see the spell begin forming. You can recognize at least the fact that his lips are moving and his hands are waving, and he is casting a spell. You use your reaction to counterspell, so go ahead and mark that off, and the spell fizzles, unable to be attained.
Cool.
He then is going to move his full movement. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And that's going to be it for him. Blaznir. It's your turn. So first off, you are going to take 4 points of cold damage. So not too much. But you are currently blind, unable to see. What are you wanting to do?
I'm gonna bumble my way forward into here.
Once you get past there, your vision does clear once again.
Well, I look down my hand and realize I just kind of cast Flame Blade out of the just, automatically. I was like, oh, well, that's useless. And, I can see that guy down the way, so I'm gonna let go of the blade, and I'm gonna point at him, and, I'm gonna cast Scorching Ray at him.
I like it. You're shooting all 3 rays at him?
Yep, that's the only one I can see. That didn't work, apparently. Why is that not working?
Only thing you did was make little lines.
Yeah, I'm clicking Scorching Ray. Oh, I don't have it. That is strange.
Let me look at it here. Yeah, I don't know what the hell you did.
Alright,
It's called Scorching Ray, not Scorching Earth.
just do this. 20, natural 20, and 21. So, first one, oh, that's...
Yeah, those all definitely hit. A 20, a 28, and a 21.
So, the first one does 9, then the second one is critical. So, just double them. So, oh, that's 6 damage. And then last one does 4. That sucked.
What you talking about? 6, 9, and 4 is still pretty good damage.
Which is more than enough to take out this Sojin. He did not have a whole lot of hit points left. 3 rays just come shooting out from Blaznir's hand, striking this Sojin in the chest. 1, 2, 3. Pfft. He falls to the ground, burnt to a cinder. He is dead. And when that happens, the orb of darkness behind disappears.
Oh, lovely. And I'm gonna use my bonus action to re-up my Flame Blade, because that just kind of stays up.
Okay.
And I have
Don't
15
think of it as
HP.
low damage. Think of it as taking out 2 spells with a single action.
Exactly.
Think of it as getting your tank into the mix.
Because you also took out the Crown of
Oh.
Madness that he was focused on or whatever.
Willow, it is your turn.
Did that take out the Crown of Madness?
He
Yeah,
has
that
to
is-
maintain
With
it
the
with an
grand-
action, and he can't do that if he's dead.
Well, I didn't know if I don't know if it's that guy who did it, because
Oh, true.
that means he
I don't
has
know.
2 concentrations up. And
Maybe,
also,
maybe not.
I just walked into Shoji's range.
Anyway, Willow, it is your turn. So what are you doing?
Yeah, did he have
I
2
dashed.
concentration spells up?
You dashed? Hold on a second.
Yep.
So, Shokan. So, Willow, you go dashing up towards Shokan as well. Are you doing anything for your bonus action?
I look pretty. Also pretty. Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So we come to Shokan, and Shokan, it is your turn. The crown is still on your head. It was not that Sojin that had cast that spell. That was the one that had cast the Hunger of Hadar, which is why Hunger of Hadar disappeared.
But first off, does this change anything?
It does, actually. Because Stillness of the Mind, it's as a 7th level monk ability that allows you to break the effect of Charmed. So on your turn, the first thing you do, just a peace comes over your mind, and you shrug off this effect, and that iron crown that is around your head shatters.
Just as well. It would have been too awkward to have 2 people wearing crowns in this party.
Okay, so that means I don't have an action now, but I still have my movement
And bonus action.
and bonus
Mhm.
action.
That's right.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna move though, because I can't really do any bonus actions without having attacked. So 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm just gonna go down here. I don't want to go right up to him. I just want to get close up just to watch what he does, basically. Maybe I'll go right there. So, and that's it, because I can't really do anything else.
Fair enough. Okay, with your turn now over, the creature that had charmed you moments ago looks at you as how close you are, screeches out loudly once again. It is looking not only hurt, but a little terrified. Yeah, well, it still has a couple, let's see, used Crown of Madness. It's used. Yeah, it has its Hunger Hadar, so it's going to go ahead and cast that. Because fuck you. So, once again, it casts the spell, and this orb of darkness fills the space around you all. It is, let's see here. So this void now forms around Willow, Blaznir, and Shokan, all three of you are in the middle of this, and you just hear these voices begin whispering once again in your mind. And it's just...
I got a question though.
Yeah.
Did you pass up Cameron's turn? Cause
No, Cameron is up next.
okay, but that one is highlighting the dead one.
Oh shit, you're absolutely right. I do apologize. I was looking in the wrong order.
So that's not cast yet.
That is not cast yet. That's my apology, because that was indeed the wrong guy's turn.
Take out the fucking sorcerer.
I'll do my best. Alright, let's see. So we're going to start with some of the old movement. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Then I will roll my hoppity hop, which is a D12. Which I have no idea why they made it a D12 if...
It makes zero sense. It really does.
Yep. So I got an 11.
Well,
so
you
I
can
guess
move 10 spaces, 10 feet.
10 feet there. And then I only see one guy, so I'm gonna try and cast... I'll cast a chromatic orb on him.
This guy here that's dead?
Oh, No, this guy.
You can actually see him?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, you're good.
Okay.
From my angle,
Cast.
it looks like it wouldn't be able to, but that's fine.
Cast a chromatic orb on him, and I'm gonna choose... I guess... Thunder is fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely going to hit him.
21.
With this thunderous orb goes flying through the air, it slams into the Sojin in the chest and just explodes with a thunderous energy. And it just knocks the Sojin back against the wall, and he crumples down to the ground, dead.
Yeah!
That was a close one.
I'll have you know our football team is also better too.
Did you see that though? He was trying to cheat.
Hardly.
He runs the game. He doesn't have to cheat. He can just say, you all die. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
that's kind of how that works. But
really takes the fun out of it. Cheating, that is.
okay, it is that guy. It is your turn still. You do still have your bonus action. So
Nothing to do with it, so.
fair enough.
I don't see any enemies, and I can't move anymore, so.
That's it for Cameron.
Yep.
Next up, let's see. You're not going to hear me for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
The warlock that has heard all of these the screams coming from down the hall, he's going to hold up there on the top there and hold an Eldritch Blast. These Sojin here who have heard this call, they know enemies are coming. They've seen their companions kind of run back and call for this. They're going to move, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 right there. Hold their action. 5, 10, or actually, what's that guy? He's holding his action to throw a spear. This guy is the other one, so he's going to do the same. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
Man,
30. Waiting.
I hate drinking that
holding-
fiber powder, because if you
holding
don't
his
drink it
action.
fast enough, it just absorbs all the liquid that you put in there and kind of
Turns
makes
to
it all
sludge.
goopy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to go back and add more juice or whatever to it.
Okay, Blaznir, you're up next. What are you doing?
Good question.
So he pulls out this rolled up thing from his pocket and begins to 420 Blaznir it.
No. Sorry, I'm having issues focusing right now. See. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else.
I'd say just move forward maybe so you can see what else is
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, honestly, that's our best bet, sally forth until we either get to the treasure or see something else.
Can't see anything, don't know anything exists. Guess I could hold a action just in case something pops up.
Oh, he's casting Hunger of Hadar. We cast Live Aid to end the hunger via celebrities and donations.
Matt stepped away for a second. He's coming back.
That's fine. Just making a joke.
Okay, Blaznir, did you decide what you're going to do?
Vaguely. I moved 30 feet up so I can see, and I think I'm just gonna hold a Produce Flame for if anything comes within range.
Okay, so a ball of flame appears in Blaznir's hand, and he's holding it, watching, waiting in case something comes out. Willow, what are you doing? Willow, are you there? We can't hear you talking if you're saying anything.
You're muted, bud.
Alright. Sorry, I didn't realize I muted myself when I had a coughing fit. I'm gonna dash up. There's my regular move, and here's my dash.
Okay, that's it for you?
That will do it.
As you round that corner, you do see there are some more Sojin down the tunnel away from you.
As a free action, I would like to memorize where they are standing at that moment.
You look down there, and you think you got a pretty good idea of where they're standing. Shokan, what are you doing?
Apparently, I'm accidentally closing out on roll 20 for one. Just move me forward 45.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. You're able to get right there next to Willow at the bend of this tunnel, and you can see to the south of you, there are a couple more of those Sojins waiting. Spears in their hands. Seems like they're looking for you.
Okay, so I can see them?
You can see them.
Okay. I am so sorry. Like, I just grabbed my mouse and accidentally hit down on the button and it was at the wrong spot.
It happens. If you want to tell me what you want to do, I can just do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably do bonus action. Whatever that is I have that I can do dash with.
To step on the wind? Yep.
Yes, that. Run up to him and frickin' plow him in the head with my brass knuckles.
Okay, so as you come running
and
around...
as I do have access here.
Okay, as you come running around this corner towards them, two more Sojin were holding their actions, waiting for somebody to come around that tunnel. Both of them are going to be throwing their spears at you as you make your way around this corner.
Have I used a reaction yet?
You have not this turn. They rolled a 23 to hit, so that's critical, so I assume that hits.
Yeah, just a second. Let me find the thing that I have. Boom.
Yeah, deflect missiles. So you can actually try to do this. What need to do is roll a d10, and you're going to add your dexterity modifier and your monk level.
A 1.
Ouch.
Okay,
No,
dex
it's-
modifier. Hold on.
Yeah, your
So-
dex modifier plus your monk level plus a 1.
So
Okay,
9
so that's
plus
3,
dex. So 12.
8. 8, 9, 12. Yes, 12.
So
That'd be a 12.
So yeah, because that's a 9 that it rolled. So this spear comes flying towards your head, and you just reach out and grab it right before it manages to hit your scalp. Like,
Okay, and
boom,
I am
right there.
spending a key point here, and I am throwing that right back at him
Okay, that's it.
as
This
part
guy
of the same
right here.
reaction.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
And then what do? I make this attack with proficiency. So what do I roll?
So just roll your basic attack.
That would that be like my unarmed?
Yeah, roll like your unarmed strike.
18.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna hit. So, hold on a second. Roll me a d6.
2. That would be a 2.
Okay, 2 plus your dex, I suppose. So that'd be another 3.
Yep, 5. So 5.
After catching the spear, you just twist it around and launch it again as hard as you can. It goes flying back through the air, striking this Sojin right here in the chest with his own damn spear, taking 5 points of damage.
Gotta feel
Yeah.
bad for him.
Yeah,
Just
don't
rolls a
fuck with me.
critical and nope. Yeet.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Alright, so then I still get to attack this guy, correct?
You still have your action, yeah.
Okay, brass knuckles. That's an 18 that hits,
Yes, it does.
which would be 9. And then since I get my second attack, that's a 10.
Nope,
Does-
that doesn't hit.
Okay, well, still 9 points to him,
So
5
yeah,
points to him.
you just clock that guy across the side of his head, and his head swings back. He looks like he's in a bit of pain. I'm not gonna lie, and definitely neither does the other guy pulling his own chest or his own spear out of his chest.
And then I'm gonna yell out, "There's more down here! Come help!"
Okay, that's it for your turn. Next up, we come to another of the Sojin, who most of you can't see, but Shokan can. Or she will anyway, as it makes its way down. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's see, to right about there. And yeah, let's see, as seeing you there, Shokan, it's gonna go ahead and cast Hold Person, I think. So I'm going to need you to make a Wisdom saving throw, please. You need to beat a 12. Whew.
14.
Got lucky there. So the Sojin casts the spell, and you feel it it start to latch onto you, but you just push past it and focus your mind, and you are not paralyzed. Well done there, Shokan. Does she have a bonus action? Not one she wants to use right now. Okay. Next off. another of these guys. So, Shokan. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a bad spot here. Would really like help.
15, 20, 25, 30. You see, easily the largest Sojin you've ever seen in your life starts walking his way up towards you. It has a trident in his hand, and he just kind of makes this odd sort of guttural sound in his mouth as he launches it directly towards you.
Yay.
That's a 19 to hit.
Can I use a reaction again?
You already used your reaction.
No. Well, 19 just barely hits.
So 11 points of piercing damage as this trident just smashes into your body. You then see there's a rope attached to it that it yanks back using its second attack action, or this second attack in the action, and it pulls it back towards him. He catches it up and throws it at you once more. But that is a 15, which misses. So you see it coming this time, and you duck your head down into your shell, and it just goes whizzing past you. That's it for their turn. Next up, we got a bunch more of these guys. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's going to make a throw at you with its spear. But that's a 5, so that's a miss. The one up right in front of you that you just hit, you see it's bleeding from the punch you made, and its eyes seem to grow red in anger as this blood frenzy fills this creature. It now has advantage on melee rolls against you.
Of course it does.
So that's a 4, which I know misses.
Yeah, just barely.
Wait a minute, that should have been an advantage.
Is that because he's missing hit points, or she is?
She is.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a 7 for that first one, so it does not hit. Second with its claw attack. That's a 19.
Just barely hits.
5 points of slashing damage. The one next to it, the one that was standing guard there, is rushing up at you as well. Kind of has you in a bit of a pincer here, one to either side of you. It's gonna go ahead and do its bite attack first. That's a 13, which misses. However, its second attack is using the spear that it had on its back. Pulls it off of its back and stabs at you. That's an 18, which also doesn't hit. Very lucky Shokan.
Alright, a little bit of help would be nice.
Not my turn yet.
Yep, the last thing that... let's see. Yeah, the Warlock was holding its action too. It does not see you, however, it does not have that far vision, I don't think. Nope, you were just out of range. Okay. So, Cameron, it is now your turn.
Cool. Alright, let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 gets me there. This thing is every turn, so let's see, an extra 5 feet. Can't really reach anybody with a spell, I don't think, so I'm just gonna move again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 as an action, and then I guess I'll bonus action try to shove this guy away from her.
Towards you or to the
Towards
side?
me.
Got it. That's
exactly what he needed to. That's my DC.
Okay, so you try to push him with your telekinetic hand, however, he remains in place, unaffected. That's it for Cameron's turn. Next up, we come to another one of those warlocks. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Right there. In vision now. Now you can see that last warlock that you were unable to before, Shokan. Yep, okay, so it is going to go ahead and Eldritch Blast you, Shokan, since you're the one it can see. But that's a 9, so I'm going to assume that does not hit.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Okay. That's it for their turn. We got a bunch more of these Sojins in the way. The one that you threw the spear at, that it just ripped out of its chest, is running up towards you now, furious from being assaulted.
I mean, if you can't take it, don't dish it.
This is fair. A 16 I know does not hit.
No, it does not.
But a 23 does.
That does.
So 7 more points of piercing damage as it stabs towards you once and you dodge back, but then it just leaps forward. Its teeth biting into your arm that you just raise up in time to guard your face. But 7 points of piercing damage to you.
But more important than the damage, gross.
Mm-hmm. See, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Another one is moving up. It can see you, Cameron, and it is throwing its spear at you.
Wait, which one?
This guy right there.
Is that a wall that he's standing in?
Standing in next to, he's kind of leaning to one side around it.
Okay.
See, there's a little bit of dip right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Don't be a dick. And you've taken some damage so far, so he has advantage. That's an 18 to hit.
Yep.
Okay, 6 points of piercing damage as the spear just comes flying out at you and stabs you directly in the chest.
Got it. Ow.
Okay, that's his turn. Blaznir, you're up next. What are you doing?
Good question. Gonna run up forward, because I... just right there, I guess. Hopefully I can see people after I move there. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pull out my Staff of Healing, give it a little bit of a twirl, and hit it onto the ground and cast Mass Cure Wounds. That doesn't show up either.
We need to have a talk with you with your character sheet later. Figure out what's going on with that. But let's see. You can choose up to 6 creatures in a 30-foot sphere around you, around a point of your choosing.
I believe I can get everyone. Most likely.
Well, we've got radius spheres.
Yeah. 30 foot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can definitely get all 4 of you. So go ahead and roll 3d8 and add your ability modifier.
Yep. Which is wisdom, so that'd be 5.
Yeah, that has no effect on me. I'm actually undead the whole time.
Oh!
You never knew it.
Kill him! Kill him with fire!
So that is 5, yep. Okay. So everyone heals 12 hit points.
Hell yeah.
Not much, but it's better than nothing.
Every little bit helps.
That's a lot of hit points.
For you, yeah.
I only have 45 total. 12 is a lot of hit points.
Yeah, and then I'm then going to say is do another thing, because I can quicken some spells. I just need to know what spell I want to quicken. You know what?
Okay, you're quickening a spell to make it a bonus action, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. I can cast a spell from a staff and then cast an actual spell, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can, yes, because you're quickening the spell.
Well, because I know there's a problem with casting 2 level spells on the same turn.
Yeah, but
that's actually an interesting question.
I think
it's an item, though.
Yeah, because I'm technically just activating an item, right? But up to you. My headset keeps on cutting out. Anyway, I'm gonna
allow it. I'll probably do some research to see whether or not it's true, but for now I am gonna allow it.
Okay. Gonna use that everything's going on right now. I'm gonna quicken.
Wait a minute, do you have any sorcery points left? I thought you said you used them in the dragon attack.
What? Sorry, my headset keeps on turning off.
Oh, I said, now, do you have any sorcery points left? Because I remember you did say you used some of them for the dragon.
I don't remember anything. I looked at my sheet and there were 2, so.
That's fine. Go for it. Just hurry
up. Did you say anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, you're fine.
Sorry.
I'm not going to waste too much time. The session's almost over, so let's just go ahead.
Alright. I'm going to cast Scorching Ray at 3rd level.
Okay. Which ones are you attacking? Are you attacking all of the ones you can see, or only a couple of them?
I'll attack... Yeah, I'll just attack all the ones I can see.
Okay, so yeah, you indicate to me which roll you're hitting.
Alright, first one is going to be the one right above Shokan.
Okay.
That does not hit at all. Second one is going to be the one 2 spaces to the right. 16. I think that hits.
I'm going to say you don't have line of sight on that one from where you're standing.
I can see it, but okay.
You may be able to see it because that's just how Roll20 works, but there is a literal wall between the two of you. You can probably hit this guy for sure, but that's really like looking at this guy, I honestly don't think you can hit him. So you're probably just going to go with this guy there.
Okay, fair enough.
But
So
16 does hit.
16, and then yeah, that's another 16. Then a natural 20. Lovely. Okay. Okay, so 16 points of damage for first ray that hits. 11 points for the second that hits, and then 22 for the third that hits because that was a crit. So, yeah.
So how much in total?
A lot.
I'm just messing with you. You're fine. It's enough to take the Sojin out. 3 scorching rays come shooting out of Blaznir's hand as he leans on the edge of this wall, barely managing to hit this guy, but it is enough to take him out.
Nice.
And I'm gonna, in real life, just melt my brain because my headset keeps beeping at me and it just keeps on distracting me.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Is
weird.
Is it low battery?
Low battery, and like the charger I have it plugged into just isn't working half the time, so it just constantly goes da-da-dun.
Okay. Well, we're almost done, so that's good at least. Willow, you're up next.
20, 25, 30. Here I come to save the day. I'm going to attack this one first. I got a 26.
26 definitely going to hit.
And then it did, looks like 20 damage total.
So which guy were you swinging at again?
The one next to me on this one, right
Got
here.
it. Okay. 20 points of damage. You cleave with this radiant greatsword, doing massive damage, barely managing to hang on.
And then my second attack will be the one in front. A 17
17 is definitely going to hit.
for 12.
Second swing with that greatsword, cleaving into another one of those Sojin. They're both looking extremely hurt, but both of them are still alive. Doing anything else for your turn?
Nope, that will be my turn. I'll just sit here and look pretty.
Okay. Shokan, you're up next. What are you doing?
Okay, I'm attacking this guy first. 25 hits.
Yeah, it does.
10 damage, I'm assuming that kills him?
That is enough to kill him, yes.
Okay, then I'm going to turn my attention to the guy in, like, directly south of me. 17 hits.
Yep.
Okay. 7. Gosh dang it, I just realized I should have been using my quarterstaff this whole time. I forgot about that, but oh well. Too late.
7 points of damage to that Sojin. He's looking hurt as well, but as you keep pummeling him with those brass knuckles, but he is still alive.
I mean, it's a good thing I still have my flurry of blows. So that's another 24 to hit him. For another 9 points of damage.
Definitely enough to take him out.
Oh, well, then a 23 would also hit him.
You could move over to use that 23 for the other
this
guy. Yep.
Okay, yep, do that. For that guy, for 12 damage.
Yeah, so you just killed 3 of these Sojin. So just tell me a little bit, how does that look?
I think, my eyes go a little bit red and probably scares Willow a little bit. And I just pummel the one, turn around, pummel this one, step over here, pummel that one, and I just stop for a second, like, just heaving and like, just
What just
angry.
happened there?
Yeah, so
Just
as
kind of like
Shokan is heaving and just breathing heavily, standing on top of this Sojin, that's what you're doing, standing on top of its dead chest.
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, kind of like you just went away there for a few seconds and then you woke back up and 3 of them are dead and you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hercules.
Okay. Well, that's it for Shokan's turn, I assume.
Yes, it is.
Next up, we're coming to a big O grouping of Sojin. So, Saugen, maybe? I don't know.
Hagen? I don't know.
Anyway, Priestess is up first, seeing a big group of their fellows just completely annihilated by Shokan. Yeah, she is gonna go ahead and cast Spiritual Weapon as a bonus action. Let's see, where did I put that? Oh, that's way too big. There we go. That appears right next to you, Shokan, because you've been killing all of her people. Sorry, I did not mean to hit that. Anyway, what it is doing is making an attack against you. This trident appears in the air and just stabs toward you, and even in your exhausted state from punching all those, you're not actually exhausted, but you know what I mean. You just dodge backwards as this trident comes flying through the air, stabbing at you, and it misses you completely.
And I'm just gonna kind of look in her way, hopefully intimidating enough to put her on edge for the rest of the fight.
Okay, that's her bonus action. Yeah, for its action, she is actually going to move again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And hold up right there. Next we come to the Baron, the big guy, who's just bounding towards you there, Shokan. 5, 10, 15 feet. Right up there next to you. You still are injured, correct? Correct, Shokan?
That depends on why you want to know.
Because you don't have all your hit points, So it comes running up towards you. As it does, it picks up the trident that it had thrown earlier that missed you. Picking it up, it's going to be making 3 attacks. First one with its bite. And that's a nat 20. I've been rolling hella nat 20s today. So 16 points of piercing damage as this gigantic Sojin just runs up, jumps at you, and bites as hard as it can on your shoulder. Then, using its trident, let's see. It's going to, stab at you with its trident. That's a 14, which it misses, and a 23. So 9 more points of piercing damage as it stabs you directly in the side with its trident. How you looking, Soji? Or Shokan?
Shokan, yeah, Shokan's one. I mean, I'm hurting, but I'm still going.
Okay, good to know. I got another of those Saujins in the mix. It's moving up towards you. 5, 10, 15. It's taking its 2 attacks at you. One with its bite, one with its spear. That's a 16, which misses. And a 9, which misses. That's it for that guy's turn. That guy's dead. That guy's dead. Cameron, guess what? It's your turn.
Okay, let's see. 5, 10, 15. I don't see anybody else but the big guy who is a clear threat, so I'm gonna try and do what I can to end this sucker. I'm gonna lightning bolt the big guy.
Now, okay. Just so you know,
Yes.
it's a line.
Oh, right. So I should be there then. So if I shoot it straight on, is that gonna work for me, or am I gonna hit my friends?
Well, let's find out. Hold on. I'm looking for my spell thingy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's be a 5-foot wall. Oh, nope. So yeah.
Now you got one? Okay. Yeah, if you angle it right, you should be able to hit just the big guy.
Cool. Then I'm gonna cast it on the big guy, and it's a dexterity saving throw. And I'm assuming...
That's a 5, so that's definitely a failure.
So 30 points of lightning, and I'm assuming there's nothing in the line that would be flammable that's not being worn or carried.
No, unfortunately not.
That's fine.
So a huge hit from Cameron. This bolt of lightning just comes shooting out, going right past Willow and Shokan, giving probably a little bit of static electricity to the both of them. Like Willow's hair is definitely standing upright, like at the Magic House. 30 points of damage to the Baron. Okay. You doing anything else?
I don't think so, because I don't have any useful bonus action spells, and shoving him 5 feet isn't going to do much.
Okay, fair enough. Next up, we come to the Warlock. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet right there.
Matt,
Yep.
we can see everything.
What do you mean?
I can see everything. Like the entire map, the 20-foot radius circle you got over here.
I can't see anything if that helps.
Okay.
It was just you.
Well, yeah, it should. I don't know why.
I don't know, it just suddenly popped up like that, so...
Does it still look like that?
Yep.
That's bizarre, because does anybody else see that?
Nope.
I mean, it doesn't really change my choices in any way, but I figured
Yeah, I know. It's just weird that it's doing that.
Yeah.
Try just a reset roll 20.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, We got the Warlock's turn. Okay. He is going to go ahead and cast Arms of Hadar. So what that does is it is creating a... Let's see. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. That is not the spell that I was thinking it was. Ignore that.
Let's see, didn't we ever talk about tentacles?
Tentacles must always be consenticles.
No, sorry, he was Hunger of Hadar. That's the spelling.
Actually, you can do the first one. That's fine.
I'm putting that right there on those that he can see. So, spell is... What's up?
Which one is it that's doing the casting, just so I know?
I'm not sure if you can... Yeah, that guy there.
Okay.
You would not be able to see him from your position.
Well, at least he can't see me either, so...
Well, he's casting it to hit the...
yeah.
To hit Shokan and Willow and the radius
Avoid
behind
his
them.
friends. Yeah, I know.
So, casting it on them. So, once again, that rift opens up in the ground around all of you. And in that 30 feet void, Cameron, Willow, and Shokan are all currently blind and hearing that hollow, ominous voice. That's it for its turn. Blaznir, what are you doing?
I kind of rest my head on the wall of the cave and just again put away some spell ingredients because my plans were just ruined. And I have no clue what I should do.
Tell us.
He can't see you.
I cannot see you right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, but he had that thing that just healed all of us and he couldn't see all of us before.
No, but he could see me.
Fair.
And Willow was back there at the time, so...
I don't want to use my Staff of Healing because it could, because it can vanish.
Fair enough.
If I
I was
use
just joking anyway.
30 seconds, Blaznir. What are you doing?
30 seconds is not enough time for me.
Well, it needs to because it's 6 o'clock.
You can pass if you need to, bud.
Yeah. Wish I had Dispel Magic, but, okay, the damage is negligible, I'm just gonna go in. 10, 27. Maybe. Yeah, just dash, I guess. But, kind of feel my way along the wall as I'm walking.
Okay. That's it for Blaznir's turn then. Willow, you are currently deaf, and you take 2d6 points of cold damage at the start of your turn. So 8 points of cold damage to you.
Right.
And now you are blind, and you hear those awful hollow-sounding voices whispering in your ears. But what are you doing?
I'm gonna go boop, boop, and ka-choop. 5, 10, 15. So that'll be, since you said it was half trained before, so I got there's my movement. And what?
There's a guy in front of you.
Yeah, there was a guy in front of you there.
I was here.
You can go through Shokan space, no problem, but going through an enemy space, you can't.
I didn't go through an enemy space. Went 1, 2 because he's dead, and then 3
Okay,
diagonal.
yeah, that's fine. I'll allow it.
I mean, if it's not allowed, that's fine. I was confused because I didn't go through an enemy square.
Well, my point would be you're blind, so you don't know where people are. So you would bounce off of her. You'd be using 20 feet of movement to get there, to get here. 25, 30. You do just have enough, but make for me a dexterity saving throw as you're trying to climb over Shokan, around Shokan, and over the dead body.
22.
Yeah, you're fine. No problem. You hit the body, you jump over it, you land on the edge, you jump again, and then you're out of the space and can see. Go ahead.
I'm going to attack the big guy. With a nat 20.
Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
Go for it.
Yeah, if he ain't dead, he's really hurt.
33
33 more points of damage. Very nice.
Alright, and then I will do my second attack.
Yeah.
For 18.
And 18 does hit.
For another 14.
14 more points of damage. Oh, damn it. Yeah, go ahead and tell me how this looks.
Real quick, how tall is this person?
Good question. Technically, it's large, so it's about 9 feet tall in total.
I swipe the legs off, and then so it drops down, and then as it's coming down, I chop the head off.
And with the head chopped off, it goes rolling away down the corridor a little bit into that dark void and disappears. And the thing falls down to the ground dead.
Nice.
And if it's allowed, I would like to do an intimidate on the one next to me.
So you're using your bonus action to intimidate?
Yes. I just want to point at it and say, "You're next." That's all.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Go ahead and roll an intimidation. Why not?
With another nat 20.
Nice.
That would be my third of the game so far.
He definitely looks intimidated between you and Shokan there. He's terrified.
And that will be my turn.
Okay. Shokan, you're up next.
Okay, I'm gonna just do a little steppy side over here and attack this guy with my quarterstaff that I just suddenly remembered I had for a 20.
Definitely gonna hit.
And that's 9 damage to that guy.
Okay, 9 points of damage.
Okay. Is he? I guess he's still up.
Yeah, he actually hasn't been hit yet.
Oh, shit. I'll attack him again with my quarterstaff for 25. And 8 damage.
8 more points of damage.
And flurry of blows, brass knuckles, 10. I'm assuming misses.
Nope, not gonna hit.
And then a 13
13 does hit.
for another 9.
Okay, and with that final punch with the brass knuckles, its head just goes twisting around, breaking its neck, and it falls down dead.
Gonna look over at Willow and, high five.
Girl power!
Okay. Next off, we come to one of the Sojin, the priestess who has that spell up, the the trident that's kind of floating there in the air. She screams at the sight of the gigantic Sojin dying, and that floating, flying spectral trident just comes flinging towards you, trying to hit you, Shokan.
So it's the one near the big guy?
No, you do not see this one.
So it's not that one.
It's not that one.
Yeah.
17 does not hit, I believe.
Does not.
Screaming, this Sojin just comes running up towards you, Willow. 5, 10, 15, 20 feet, and just wildly enraged. It's taking 2 swipes at you with its, let's see, one with a bite and one with a claw. So that's a 22 to hit for the bite.
Hey, I'll take that one.
Okay. So 3 points of piercing damage. Then she rakes at you with her claws for a 21.
I will have to take that one as well.
So 2 more points of slashing damage. Very minor, minimal damage from the priestess.
Let's see.
Okay.
Hey.
Cameron, it's your turn. So first off, you're taking 7 points of cold damage as the ice from the void around you just starts burning into your flesh. You are blind, and you have all those horrible whispering sounds filling your ears. What are you doing?
10 feet of movement, 20 feet of movement, 30 feet of movement. Get my hop, which isn't even enough.
I'm going to allow you to get right out of there with a 4. That's close enough to 5. You'll be able to hop right out there and just barely land on your belly in a crouch, but you are out of the blinding field.
Okay. I don't really have a good view on that one because Willow is blocking me, so I'm going to cast Chromatic Orb at this one.
Which one?
This one. But that probably misses.
Oh, yeah. It goes flying overhead, and the Sojin just dodges down, missing it completely.
Okay. And then I'll just bonus action shove it towards us.
Okay. That's an 18.
Nope. It succeeds.
Okay. That's it for Cameron's turn. Next up, we have the Sojin that you just hit with a chromatic orb.
I tried to.
Yeah, you tried to. Okay, it's going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to right here. Just trying to stay a little bit out of Willow's radius, clutching against the wall there. It is then going to cast Arms of Hidar.
Arms or hunger?
Yeah, this time it's arms because it already casts hunger for today.
Then does that mean the other one goes away because it's concentration?
Nope, because this spell is not a concentration. Nice try, though. I need Cameron and Willow to make strength saving throws for me, please.
Sure.
21.
6.
Okay. So that is a success for Willow and a failure for Cameron.
Yep.
So these tentacles of dark energy just erupt outward and 10 feet around this Sojin. Willow, you take 4 points of necrotic damage, but do not suffer any ill effects. You, Cameron, take 8 points of damage.
I'm gonna use a reaction to use my tattoo to have that damage.
What does the tattoo do?
I'll post it up in chat right now. Once per, basically, until the next sunset.
I like it.
I can use a reaction to.
Well,
have
here's the
damage.
thing with that, though. Because on a failed save, you cannot use your reactions until your next turn. So you cannot do that.
I mean, when I take damage, can't I?
When you take damage, you use your reaction.
Okay.
It
Sure.
takes away your reaction, so you cannot do that. So it is still the 8 points of damage. But when you get your turn back, then you have your reaction again. Okay, that's it for that guy. Blaznir. First off, you take 11 points of cold damage as you're still there in the void.
Okay, it's gonna kind of shamble out. Is that far enough out where I can see?
No, and actually I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as you're walking forward blindly, groping around. Your foot hits one of the bodies of the Sojin. Make a dex saving throw for me. Oof. Yeah, a 10's gonna fail. You trip over the body, landing face down on the ground where your token is, but you have to use your half of your remaining movement to get back up. And you are still right now blind where you are.
Oh, God. Alright, so I think that's all my movement. Okay.
So that's your movement. You still have your action, your bonus action, but you are still blind.
I have no clue where anyone is, so I'm again gonna put just still face down, put spell component away, and just be frustrated on the ground because I've got nothing.
Fair enough. Okay, Blaznir, that's it for your turn. Willow, you're up next. There are 2 Sojin left.
Alright, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna hit this one. Say 25
Definitely hits.
for 16 damage.
16 damage.
Still alive?
Oh yeah, still alive.
No, that's what I want to make sure. Sorry. And I'll hit again. I'm guessing a 10 missed.
A 10 does miss.
Alright. And... Okay, quick question. What square is this one actually in?
Technically he's in this one here.
Okay. No, that's what I wanted to make sure on.
There's that.
And... Yeah, no, that's good. I didn't know, because if it was more over, I was going to try to get in both of them to be engaged with both of them.
Yeah,
but that will be...
State monument where you stand on it and you're in like 4 states at once.
It's more, has its back against the wall and is kind of leaning there. So, I mean, nobody is exactly a 5-foot cube. We just use tokens to represent them, but you get the idea. But he's 10 feet away from you, Cameron.
Okay.
Willow.
Yeah, I knew you. You're good, you're good. I will just sit here and look at D and say go.
Fair enough. Shokan, you're up next. What are you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna go here. Hit him with that. 21 hits.
Yes, it does.
For 9 damage.
9 more points of damage. It's looking hurt, but it's still up.
Okay, quarterstaff him again. For another 21.
Yep.
Another 10 damage.
Finally enough to take this thing out. Tell me how that looks.
I mean, I feel like I just take his head off with the end of my quarterstaff.
I like it. Its head goes flying off into the air and as it lands on the ground, that floating temporal trident that was floating there disappears as well.
Okay, and then would I be able to then go here and flurry of blows on this dude?
Yeah, because you did make your attacks and you still have a bonus action.
Okay, flurry of blows. That's a nat 20.
A lot of criticals rolled this game.
That's 15. And then another 21.
Mm-hmm.
Or another 12.
Just describe this for me. Where it's dead.
I mean, I just pummel him into the wall, I feel like.
And just screaming, Shokan comes running up, grabbing the Shojin, pushing against the wall, and just repeatedly pummeling it with her brass knuckles over and over again until this head is nothing but a mess of reddish green pulp, and it falls down to the ground dead. And with that, it dying, that radius of negative energy disappears as well. And Blaznir, you're finally able to see. Actually, you should have taken more damage because you ended your turn still in its radius. So technically you took another 8 points of acid damage at the end of your turn, Blaznir, but it doesn't matter because everything is now dead.
You wake up surrounded by dead bodies. Well, not wake up, but
you open your eyes. Yeah, your eyes become clear, and you look around, and you're just surrounded by a bunch of dead Sojin on the ground, and Cameron standing right next to you.
Hello, you guys having fun over here? I've had to put away this piece of obsidian 17 times during this battle.
I had to shoot the big thing full of lightning.
Listen, I just...
Yeah, I just, did what I do best.
So going through, looking around now, with all these Sojin dead, you realize there on the far end of the cavern is a gigantic pile of treasure.
Yes.
You can all now see.
The loot.
You see several things there. A big mountain of gold, first and foremost. Quite a bit of it. Since it is 6:20, we're going to go through this very, very quickly, but you all spend some time looking through everything. In total, you have 14,000 gold pieces. Another 600 platinum pieces. You find several valuable pieces of art. You find a bunch of topazes. You find small, medium, and large. I'll give you the amounts later.
Sure.
You find a gold ring set with topaz. You find gold bracelets set with topaz. You find several items, 3 in fact, that ping as magical when you cast Detect Magic ritually. Using your Identify spell, you find them to be a brooch of shielding, a ring of water walking, and a feather token of the whip.
Sweet.
Looking over these items, you're amazed by what you find. It's a treasure hoard.
Now, just to be
Yep.
To be clear, the pieces of art, is that the topaz items?
Yeah, that's with the topaz items.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put these out there for you so it's easier.
Sure.
At least I would if the page was working for it right.
Oh, hell yes.
So the
30s.
percentage of that you all agreed to give 2,100 gold pieces to the village, and
Yeah.
God damn, what? Hold on, I'm trying to.
Okay.
And 90 platinum.
2,500 gold pieces and 90 platinum pieces. What do I get? Okay. And then that valuables total the 1,250. That's the value of the gems.
Yes, that's the value of the gems. Which,
Okay.
if you're giving the gold and the platinum to the two fishermen,
hmm
they take that and they're going to distribute it amongst the village and especially to the widows. And they're not going to ask whatever items you found when you show them the gold.
Yeah, that's
So-
fine. I'm just gonna keep it simple and pay them what we agreed upon.
Very good.
So that leaves us with 11,500 on the gold pieces, and then 510 on the platinum pieces.
So,
Oh
with
wait,
that,
no, 2,100. Okay, that's an
Yeah,
extra
2,100.
400. So 11,900. There we go.
So anyway, we are a bit running late today, so I'm just going to
Sure.
say thank you to everyone who is watching. We absolutely appreciate you tuning in and enjoying our adventures. We hope to see you again next Monday at 3 p.m. when the Debauchery Circus heads into Coltrast Village and begin whatever it is they're going to do to attempt to restore Edmund to power. So, on behalf of everyone here in the Debauchery Circus, I just want to say thank you once again. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next week. Good night.